doing algebra refresher. So you should have already done a lot of this in grades 7, 8, 9. So you've got kind of 4 goals today: how to group like terms, simplify multiplication division of algebraic terms, using the distributive law, and factorizing basic algebra. So let's start with the first one, grouping like terms. What is a like term in algebra? A to A, like terms, because they both have A. What about A and 2A squared? No. Okay, so they're not like. So they have to have the same, what's that number up the top called? Power or indice. We did it last lesson, remember? So it's a letter, same letter with the same power. So A and 2A are good, but A and A squared are not like terms. Does it make sense? Yeah? So in the first example, simplify the following. Are those 3 things like terms? Do they have the same letters with the same powers? So they are like terms. So when we simplify, we just look at the number in front of the terms. So 6 minus 3 is 3, plus 8 is 11. So we're just doing something with these numbers at the front. 11ab squared. The letters stay exactly the same because we're just grouping the like terms. It's like 6 bananas minus 3 bananas plus 8 bananas. We end up with 11 bananas. Multiplication and division of algebra. So how does multiplication work in algebra? Does anyone remember?
If you times variables together.
So if we multiply variables together, the powers add. Okay? If we multiply different letters together, what happens? You just write it without the multiplication. So A, B. So the invisible thing in the middle is an invisible multiplication. 3 times 8. 8. 16. C squared times C is? C cubed. Good try. Yep. And D times D squared? D cubed. So we're just adding the powers, or adding the indices. Yep. Okay, so you usually use the distributive law when what is present? Brackets, okay? So if you've got A bracket C plus D, you're distributing the A. So you're sharing the A with everyone. So it becomes AC plus AD. You remember this? Yep. So that's negative 2G multiplied by 2H is
Negative 4GH.
very good. Negative 4GH, and then we put what down? Plus negative 2G multiplied by 3G becomes negative 6G squared. So you can get rid of that plus and just put a minus in between. Alright, so what's the first part? Hands up, anyone? 2i plus 4i squared, and then minus someone else, plus 8i. Because you've got to take that and distribute that as well. Yeah? So a negative times a negative is a positive. Yep. Now, if the question said expand the following and simplify, imagine it said that as well, what would we do then? We are going to collect like terms. So, are there any like terms there? Remember, we can't do the same powers, so you're correct. 2i plus 8i becomes 10i. And then 4i squared minus 24i squared becomes negative 20i squared. We are looking at the things that are the same on the top and bottom. Does that make sense? Or the things that are similar on the top and bottom. So what's the same or similar on the top and bottom? Yep. So we cancel the f's out and we're left with 1. And then what happens with the 28 and the 14? Not 3. There's 2 14s in 28. Yep. So we're left with 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. Okay? So we're left with 2 divided by e. Okay? If you have x minus 2 divided by x minus 2, okay, so it both has x minus 2 on top, so we're left with 1 as the answer. 2 divided by 2, we're dividing both the top and the bottom by 2. That's what we're doing when we're doing that cross. So when we divide 2 by 2, we're left with 1. So 9j and 12. What do 9j and 12 have in common as their factors? 3. Very good. So you write the factor out the front. And what's left over if we divide 9j by 3? Divided by 3, we're left over with 3j. So you write down what's left over. What about 12? When we divide it by 3? 4. Okay? So we've divided them both by this number, so we put it outside the bracket and we put down what's left over. It's whole number factors inside the bracket. Both have 8 and they both have a k. So when we divide 16k squared, divide that by 8k, what are we left with? 2k, because that cancels out and that cancels out to leave 2. So we write that inside the bracket. What about the 8k? When we divide 8k by 8k, we get 1. Good job, you were listening.